Hey everybody, welcome to TUC Talk, where we bring the truth back to our urban culture. I'm your host, Kenny Santos, going by IG tag Gato Noir Magic. My pronouns are ya boy and Ken Ken, and here are my hosts who I will let introduce themselves. Starting with you, Donnie.
You guys already know who I am. If you listen to Out of Bounds, I'm one of the co-hosts there, and yeah, that's all.
Yeah, let's pretend that they do. Sean?
Right? Yeah.
What's up? I'm Sean. If you've listened to Gaming Chair, I'm also one of the co-hosts over there.
Let's pretend like they do as
Ano-
well.
Another podcast they don't listen to. And of course, we have the first ever guest star, Naja Ali, a close associate of Donnie. And I'll just let her introduce herself since no one is more, worthy of the job.
Oh, thank you. I'm Naja. Most times I go by Naja Ali. I knocked off my last name, but I'm just a friendly face, and I just like to build genuine connections, and have that discussions of great topics and see where things go from there. But
Yeah, sounds like a
that's me.
great Tinder profile already.
I'm correct.
So, So, guys, before we get into anything, like as is Tuck tradition, we'll start with the mental health check in that will appear shortly down in the bottom. And first, the choices, as always, are one, I want to die, two, my life is pointless, three, nothing matters, four, my life sucks now, five, whatever, six, I'm content, seven, I'm grateful, eight, I'm in a good place, nine, I'm excited about life, and 10, couldn't be better. And since Naja is our guest, you'll go first.
Okay.
Be
For that,
truthful.
oh, I'm being truthful. I'm seven.
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm seven. I'm very grateful, like because life can go this or that way right now. So I'm very grateful where I'm at. I like really thought about everything of where I'm at right now, and being a child of divorced parents and trying to adult in this life, in this society, in this world right now. So I'm very, very grateful. If you asked me last year, probably one, to be real. But
Damn.
right now I'm very grateful.
Shit. She improved 7 times over. How'd you do it? What's your secret?
Patience, crying, reflecting, reflect a lot of reflecting, alone time, a lot of alone time, and goals, writing down my goals and actually like reaching for them. The my family, the few that that I can talk to about like personal stuff. So
Nice. Keeping it vague so that we don't know the secrets and can improve our own lives. Thanks, Naja. Okay. Sean, you're next.
I'm gonna say I'm still sitting at like a 8.5. Everything has been kind of calm lately. I just actually came back from hanging out with my friends like last night. It was a game night. There was some awkwardness, but not from me. So,
Okay, call him out. Anyone specifically we're calling out, or
not not so much
Yeah.
calling
Say
anybody
their
out.
name.
It's just nah. It's just like when you put a lot of people in a room together and not everybody meshes well, you get like a little bit of the back and forth a little bit. So you got some slick comments
Mhm.
here, weird energies from like a different group of friends. It was just like that, but I had fun. So
what the
as long
fuck?
as you have fun.
Yeah, that was
As long as
very
you
vague
have
as
fun.
well.
Right, like, come on. Okay, I guess maybe the theme should be vagueness and we can forget about the attraction thing, because what the fuck are you talking about, Sean?
I mean, okay, so basically it was just like like without getting in too much, it's just like I said, there's a clash of energy. So you got like one friend who talks a lot more than everybody else, and I mean like interruptedly. So like while we're
Oh
trying to
shit.
get through the games, a lot of like there's a lot of questioning everybody's answers or getting really like lit, and then kind of like interjecting in their and everybody else's answers when there's really no need for it. There's the slick comments back and forth between like other friend groups because like let's say the one friend group is related to another friend and the other friend is like related to our friend group, and she's just like, yeah, they don't want to play and all the stuff like that, even though they didn't really say anything. So it's just like a lot of shade throwing
Yeah,
and
it's a lot of not people
interjecting.
not being honest.
Yeah. So like it was
Sounds
just
like
like
somebody's
me.
like, yeah,
So it's legit me the whole night, kind of sitting there watching like the different things going on and being like,
You're an
yeah,
observer.
like, But I have fun regardless.
As long
Yeah,
as you have
man.
fun.
I can definitely empathize with the first part because it sounds like you're describing an attention whore, and that's exactly why I went into podcasting. So yeah. In any case, Donnie, you're next.
Okay.
uh, this may shock a lot of people, but I'm
Oh,
10.
holy shit!
Couldn't be better.
God damn.
And I'll tell you why. Because you know me, I'm an open book.
Yes, yes. I've
I
read his
went
books too.
to I went to this sex party last night, and things got a lot
Not me like celebrating.
interesting and just like yeah,
What's
it was great.
interesting
So
about this sex party? Hold up, but like you've told us about many sex parties, but this
yeah,
one's
so
interesting. What happened?
there was like a lot of like candle play, like a lot of S&M and
Ow.
stuff that I normally don't really get into. I dabble in it a lot, but it's like not really my forte. So I tried out a lot of new things and stuff like that. And for me, it gave me great ideas to like write poems for my upcoming book and stuff like that.
You guys
So
could
I
write
had a
poems.
hell
Yes.
of a great time.
And Brent is gonna write a fucking sonnet from the bottom of someone's boot. But yeah, I don't know how much more detail. Usually I ask, I don't know how comfortable you are with going into more detail, but I know you're exactly comfortable with getting into detail, but we don't want to get canceled by YouTube. But feel free to
Right.
sprinkle some truths throughout. But
Yeah, I will. I will.
yeah, if you draw or in the chat, or I'll just read your book. Who gives? In any case, I would say I'm at a 5.5. Things are pretty good. I'd say career-wise, I'm pretty focused. Thinking of doing another degree because I guess I hate myself secretly. But yeah. So a lot of new pursuits. But life is still fairly stagnant. As I'm back in bachelorhood, and it's like, oh, who's Kenny now? But right now Kenny is a podcast host, so we'll go right into our fucking
Yeah,
thing.
I've seen your Instagram stories last night and or
Yeah,
earlier this morning, and I'm just like, are you
that
good?
that was drunk Kenny. Okay, drunk Kenny and sober Kenny are two different. I can't speak for his
I know that's
actions.
it.
Okay, I can't speak for his actions, nor will I pay any attention to the outstanding warrants. In any case, I will start with our theme, attraction, and I wanted to preface this, but particularly because normal people get their best thoughts in the shower. I get my best thoughts in the gym, and I was just like doing some bicep reps, and it, like just hit me all of a sudden that like modern, at least physical attraction, is based off of fat percentage. And the reason for this was that I was reading a girl's post on Instagram. She's like, "What? Why do men love big tits? It's all just a bunch of white fat in there. There's nothing but gross fat. Why do we love this?" And it's like fat plays a very big role in attraction because it all depends on how much you have and where it's distributed. Like you Google the modern perception of beauty. It's a woman right as of now with like thick hips, thick thighs, big butt, slightly big breasts, but like her face looks like you sucked all the fat out of it. Like her waist has no fat. So it's like distributed in areas. It's still present, but the percentages in some areas are less. And I'm like, and that works for men too, right? Except for men, it's more like, yeah, most of it is gone. And I guess women like guys with big butts. So me and Donnie are staying winning. But in case, next question, let's start with our first question. What are you physically attracted to? Sean, you can go first.
Okay.
Be as vulgar as you like. Don't let me
Please,
put barriers on you. No one will judge you.
Okay. So I'll
I
say
might a
this.
little, but
I'm gonna judge you a little. I'm not gonna lie. He's probably gonna be like big feet, and then I'll be like, God damn,
All right.
get off
So
this podcast.
okay. All right. So as I would usually, well, as I said last time, in the spirit of transparency, and I realized that I guess I wasn't part of one of the podcasts that had happened prior to this. I will announce I'm bi. So there's that.
congratulations.
Get
So,
over
but there's
yourself. I'm kidding. You're good. I'm happy for you.
thank you. So now that being said and that out of the way, Let's see, physical attraction. I'm attracted to, I'll say on women, I'm more attracted to the usual, I'd say on part the usual, like, the kind of the slim, thick kind of, you know, vibe going on. But I'd say
So
more
I don't
slim.
understand that.
What,
What's
slim, thick?
the
Okay, so
slim
it's like,
fit?
Thank you, Donnie.
I'd say, okay, so I would say slim, thick is like, how would I really describe it?
Sounds like what I just finished
Always.
describing.
Yeah,
Like
like in a
a Kardashian or something
Yeah.
like that?
yes ish, like like someone who's not too, like, they're not too big, but like I guess in the right places, like, there's more,
Okay.
Right, their
Yeah.
but
fat
they're
is
not
distributed in the right places. Oh my god, I'm a genius.
like, so like it would be like that. I would also say I'm more attracted to like slimmer women simply because I dance, so I'm usually attracted to like kind of the dancer physique that like you see a lot.
Mm, mm,
And then I'd say on the guy side of thing, I'm more attracted to the, I guess, more fit. Since I started
mm.
working out and everything, that's usually like what I'm attracted to as well.
Hmm.
Let's get well, let's get a little deeper because Donnie has brought this up a lot, particularly with his pornographic habits. Does race or ethnicity ever play an important part in your attraction to someone else? Do you have
Let's talk
preferences?
about
Are
that.
you attracted to one thing more than other? What's going on there, bud?
Okay, so let's see. I'd say, okay, so one other thing that I realized, it wouldn't, to me, technically the physicality wouldn't matter if I find like your face attractive. That's like my one shallow point. It's just like if you have like a face that I'm attracted to, then I can overlook any other part of you. You could be bigger, you could be smaller, as long as I'm attracted to like your face, since it's usually what I'm going to be looking at for the most of the time.
Wait, so the first part of your rant can be thrown out the window if the
It can,
face is
yes, those can be thrown out the window if I'm
okay.
at least like
But
attracted to your face.
Guys and girls, you still got
I
a
wouldn't.
shot.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's shallow. I feel like I feel like anybody who says that the face isn't like one of the most important things when being attracted to somebody, it's like absolutely lying. I mean,
Yeah. Like I
you
like
got to
girls
look
with
at that person
faces.
24/7. So it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, I don't think you're being shallow. I think people are just not being honest when they say that. Oh, I don't care about the face. Yes, the fuck you do. Like that's
Yeah.
like one of the main reasons why you're dating that person.
Yeah, man, it's like I like girls with faces because if they have a face, they have a head, and if they don't have a head, they're probably dead, and if they're dead, I'm a necrophiliac. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel you.
And there's nothing wrong with that
Right.
either.
Right, but Sean, I guess so. I'm not trying to like keep digging in on this just to be controversial for the sake of controversy, but like,
No, you can
do
keep
do
going.
do racial preferences ever actual or ethnic preferences ever come up? Because I feel like this is a hot topic on social media where people are like, I'm not racist, I just have preferences.
So, okay, if I'm being honest, I'm more likely to talk to someone who is either black or like Spanish before I go into like any other like race.
Hmm.
Those two would probably be the top that I would usually go more towards. Not for any
Sounds
like
a bit
complete
racist to
racist reasons.
me.
Like I wouldn't date a white person. I date a white person. It's just those are the usual two that I would go to first. Simply because I feel like I'd
And
be
what was
more
the usual
connected
two?
to them.
Right.
You heard it here first, folks. Black girl supremacy.
Okay, all right.
Wait, you said
Because
you
I
don't
gotta
want to
say
date a black
something.
girl?
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
this is a good topic here. Go ahead, Donovan. I got something to say.
Because no, I just know our editor Liddell. If I was to say my preference, but
He's
it
gonna
would be like,
destroy you in the
oh,
I'm just
comments.
watching watching him on
yeah,
his face.
Ooh.
because you say because you said that, oh, I would prefer to date black girls and Spanish girls, but if I say I prefer to date Caucasian women, then it's like, well, why do you prefer to date
Yeah.
Caucasian women? So I'm going to need you to explain, Sean, why you prefer black women and Spanish women, and don't say it's a New York thing.
So I'd say I
New York
prefer
pick.
them more simply because I feel like they're closer in relation to whatever like happens in like your own life. They wouldn't be you wouldn't necessarily be able to talk to you can talk to like a white person more about like let's say racial biases and all the stuff like that. But I feel like energetically either black or Spanish are probably closer related to each other where we share some of the same struggles, the same discriminations. And I don't know, just in general, I guess I'm more attracted to them than I am. It's gonna sound really bad, but like sometimes when I look at certain white people, there's this kind of generic energy that I get. Like it's almost like hard to not like hard to distinguish, but it's like I'll kind of look and be like,
Damn.
what about you is different than like let's say these other girls that I see?
Yeah.
Like so something has to kind of catch my eye. I would say when it comes to like more of the white people.
Sean really said white girls are the
Prejudice.
Kirkland brand of women.
I don't mean
He
to sound
goes to
prejudiced, but it's just
Costco.
like
He goes to Costco, buys them in bulk, and is like, "No, these are on brand."
it's like I
Right.
don't mean to sound prejudiced. It's just like legit. Like I'll look and be like, kind of like, all right, there's a distinguishing feature that maybe catches my attention on this person. But if I'm looking at like the group as a whole, it's just kind of like a, and then I'll see
Mm.
like the one person I'm just like, oh, okay. But otherwise, it's just
Sean be like, "You are a credit to your people."
The
Uh,
forefront.
Donnie, I know,
Shout out to the culture.
I know everyone's looking forward to hearing what your qualifications are, but before we get into the
No.
juicier ethnic
Yeah.
stuff, give us the physicality, the generic. Give us the generic before you give us the meaty stuff.
It, this is going to sound so boring and so corny, but I really don't care what the physical appearance looks like from below the neck. Um, I'm not I'm not interested in like the body aspect of anything. She can have big boobs or she can have like a small ass or whatever. Like it doesn't really matter to me. As for the male side of things, it's just a sexual attraction. That's all it is. I don't find men attractive. Um,
Ouch.
it's I know the way it sounds. It's
I'm trying, Donnie.
yes,
I got a
yeah,
new haircut
yes,
and
yeah,
everything.
yes, I am. Yes, I am like bi. But on the male side of things, it's purely just a release and I leave. That's all it is. It's a quick one night stand.
Yeah,
So
okay.
that's why I like focus on the women's
Okay.
side. But
So what you're saying is the male gender is like the equivalent of a used napkin. Got it.
yes, one
Gotcha.
hundred percent. That's what it is.
You
It's
heard it here first, folks.
yeah, it's
Donnie is a monster.
it's such a shitty way. Like if I know I'm having like a bad like chance with like talking to women, like meeting up and stuff like that, I'll switch over to Grinder and instantly it's like, oh, where do we meet up? Like my place or your place, and we do the D and then I dip out and that's all it is.
Wait, what if
And
it's in your place? Do you like kick him out?
no, I will never. When I mean my place, I say a hotel room. I will never have anybody, girl or boy, and bring them to my house. I had a girl in high school that I brought to my house, and she was toxic, to say the least. But yeah, I think it's a personal thing, and it's like a wall of insecurity. So I never bring people back to my house. I always go to their house, or fuck it, I will literally buy a $500 hotel room for the night, then bring people back to
Damn,
my
who's
house.
worth a $500 hotel? Shit.
It's worth it to not bring people
500.
back to my house.
Oh, okay. Wow. Jesus, I wouldn't even know how to feel. Like, I want to, wow, you're buying me a $500 hotel. On the other hand, it's just to keep you away
Right.
from. Damn, you're sending mixed signals.
Exactly. So back to like my attraction. I'm more attracted to like the I'm more attracted to the mind and creativity. I put art and culture above everything
Whoa,
else.
Donnie, we'll get into that. That's the next section. We're
Oh, so
still,
we're just talking about
yeah,
physical?
well, yeah, we're physical. Don't jump
Oh,
ahead.
I mean, she has to have
It's
nice hair and
spoilers.
that's it. Yeah.
Okay, so face, nice hair. That's it.
Yeah.
Huh. Huh. Huh.
That's what I'm saying.
I was
I was like,
expecting
I
you to
know
say
it sounds.
I was expecting you to say I only date white girls. I was expecting that, but you didn't, and I'm proud of
Oh,
you.
you didn't ask the race question. I
It
don't
was
only
implied. It
date.
was implied. I don't want to keep
I don't
repeating it.
only like people get this sense that I only date white girls. I've had black girls, and Naja can attest to this. I've had and dated black girls in high school. I dated too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Um,
So for the
I,
audience, these guys have known each other for
You've
quite a
always
while,
been
and
attracted. Yeah,
yeah.
he's always
yeah,
been
like,
attracted to white girls. As far as I know, you've definitely always
Oh
been
shit!
attracted to
Spill the
white girls.
tea.
Like,
This is why we have her.
yeah, it's.
Expose his life.
but
Now
I
you know
believe you
my
to
true
say
appreciate black
intentions.
to
girls.
say I wasn't nervous coming into this podcast, knowing that I have one of my high school friends on here is like I would be
Why?
lying. So
Why would you do this? I was
Um,
questioning. Like I was like, is this his ex or is this his girl? Or is this his friend? And
no,
clearly, it's your exposer.
no,
no.
like yeah. The girl that I dated in high school was a toxic black female, and that's not to say all black females are toxic.
That's not to
She
say all
just happened
toxic
to
women are
be
black.
she just happened to be the worst one. Um, but yeah, I do date like outside my race. I've dated Puerto Ricans, I've dated Asians. Like I just prefer my preference is white females. That's all.
The first step is admitting it.
it's it's not a problem.
I never said it was. I never said it was. This is an Alcoholics Anonymous. Don't worry. But
Right, but Sean wasn't getting as much heat as me.
he,
Oh, but because he dates black girls or he dates within his culture,
yes,
it's
It's
yes.
suddenly cool.
fine.
Okay, all right. So I like to get what he said was about relatability. I really don't want to. I don't like that. I like to challenge myself with different perspectives and cultures and experience. So I guess that's why I normally tend to date outside my race or my culture.
Okay.
So yeah.
Great, dude. Great. You monster. Um,
No.
and
You guys gonna see me like somewhere in the back at a KK meeting and be like, I fucking knew this guy. I
oh,
knew.
oh, and before we move on to Naja, just for because I know a lot of our fans or like just a lot of people in general are real anal about this kind of stuff. No kink intended. So when these guys are saying different race like Puerto Rican or Spanish, they're not referring to Spaniards. They're not saying that Puerto Ricans are a race. They just mean Latinos,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I know a lot of people, and not Latinx. We don't use that word. Yes, Naja, your turn.
All right. So, what am I attracted to? That's very hard. Someone asked me that not that long ago. What am I attracted to? I start going into characteristics, like mindsets. They're like, whoa, 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 no.
Yeah,
Like, what are you
yeah,
physically
physical.
attracted to?
I ain't trying to
Physical.
get
I'm
this
like,
one.
um, everybody that I dated looked different or like dealt with looked different. So I never really know what I'm attracted to. I'm like, as long as you're clean, like your exterior is clean, and I don't know, you can have any type of face. Like, I would say, I guess I don't want to be shallow, but I would say I'm not really like have a fetish for guys who are like bigger. Because I think because I'm small, like I'm petite, so I'm not really attracted to guys who are much bigger, weight wise.
Oh,
But I
okay.
don't have nothing against it. Like it's okay. You can be big. You look good, but it's just I don't think I can handle all that. But
So
muscular.
like if Dwayne the Rock
At
Johnson were
least you're
trying to
honest.
if Dwayne the Rock Johnson were trying to shoot a shot, you would be like, no, no,
Oh no, no,
your
no,
body's not good
no,
enough.
no. He's
What
fine
about
because
Rick
he's
Ross?
like okay. So okay, Rick Ross
Donnie,
is just
expose her now. What did she
okay.
lie
Right.
about?
Yeah, like okay, so if we're given okay, the Rock Johnson, he's very muscular, and he's too muscular though. But I would prefer that over Rick Ross because
Is it because he's like well built and like he's like big, but it's
He can pick
like
me up. Like I'm thinking,
muscular?
like, can you pick me up and stuff like that? And can I like lay on your shoulder? Is it a comfortable lay? Like, is it
Can I
bony?
live on your
Is
Hold
shoulder?
on. Can Rick Ross not do that?
Wait, did she say, "Can I live on your shoulder"? What's going on there?
Can I lay
can
on
I
your
lay on
shoulder?
your
Oh, okay.
shoulder?
I just
Is
thought
it
like you're
like
like a
plump
parrot that
enough?
just hangs out there.
No, is it plump enough for me to lay on your shoulder if we're watching a movie or something like that? Can I cuddle up with you? So I guess I look at that when I'm looking at the physical. I'm trying to figure out, can I cuddle up with you? Do you look strong enough to pick me up and like, put me in different, positions, all that good
Mhm.
stuff.
So she wants a Fabio type guy.
Gotcha.
But no, I
Okay.
don't want it. You don't have to be super muscular, but you do have to have some meat on your bones. And not to say I haven't dealt with somebody who didn't have meat on their bones. It's just they had like something somewhere else, so it just like it was fine.
It
I like was
compensated.
past
Oh,
So,
it was somewhere else. Got
so,
it.
so what Naja's just
the.
trying to say, guys, is that she's on both spectrums of the body shaming. So, no, if you're too fluffy, you're out here. If you're too skinny, you're disgusting and anorexic. I'm kidding.
Right.
But
I be wanting to feed
she,
you if you're like
she's
super on the skinnier
Goldilocks.
side.
This one's just right.
Yeah,
But that is
I be want
okay.
to feed you.
Donnie, do you want to call shit out on anything she just said based on your experiences with her?
Am I
No,
being
I think that was
Fact check.
well, yeah, high school. That's was her
right? I
preference.
look
Like
beyond.
yeah.
Well, you can look beyond in the next section. Okay,
The I was the
this
only
is
one
two
like
dimensional,
masking.
right? And of course, since Donnie wants me to just say it so loud, does ethnicity or race play in your physical attraction towards someone?
No, I mean I discussed this.
I'm just asking your friends. I'm not asking you. We're
Oh
done with you,
please.
Donnie. Naja, would you like to answer?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, she's zoned out. So basically, do race or ethnicity play a role in your physical attraction to someone? Because some
It
people
really
just
does.
won't admit
No.
it.
And
It
you know
doesn't.
what? Someone admitted that to me. Someone literally said to me that they don't like black girls, but it's not that they don't like, I guess, can't do sexual things with them, but they don't like black girls. Never got the
Fully
reason
seen.
for it. I don't really understand that when guys say they don't like black girls. I get the preference, but not liking them is like it deserves an explanation. If
Mm.
like, share the care. But um for me, you could be any race. Like I don't even look at that at all. I want to know about your culture. I want to know about new things. Like I want to try new food. It's all about the food for me. Like so, if you from a different culture, it's a bonus because I can, you know, get to see where you grew up, see your upbringing, see your values and morals and traditions. I think is beautiful. I think like different experience, different cultures is beautiful. I love couples that are interracial couples because you can just bring just something new to the table and get to know like different at like perspectives of life because being black you just have this one perspective and if you and it's okay to have that black and black love like that black love is beautiful but it's just having that different perspectives on life and culture and what can be and what you can grow from. You don't got to be subjected to what people have done to black people for so long. We don't have to be subjected to that. There's different ways to live, and other cultures can open your eyes to that. So I think it's beautiful. So any race for me. Yeah.
Donnie, what did she lie about?
She didn't lie about nothing. But
Good, 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 good.
I do want to get everybody's perspective on if you had to like get settled and married, like would you get settled down with somebody outside your race?
Most definitely,
Probably.
absolutely. I intend to.
Naja's the only one that didn't answer. She's debating that, so it's.
It depends. It depends on how, I really think it's how they treat you, because a lot of black men think you have to deal with their BS and their trauma, and a lot of that comes from our culture, sadly. And so I know a lot of women are hesitant and want to just stay outside their race because it's just, you want to be with someone who wants to grow. And if we keep blaming our past and keep blaming our upbringing and stuff for why we are what we are today, it's going to make dating hard. So it's like, I'm just like, I would love to be with a black man, but with black man around me right now is going to be on that same wavelength of growing through trauma, growing through
Mm.
what happened. So
Nice.
if you ask me today or tomorrow, if I meet somebody outside my race, definitely doing that. Yeah,
Dope,
without
dope,
thinking
and
about it.
dope. And if Donnie, if you ask another question while I'm host of this podcast, I will set your afro on fire so quick. just had to alpha for real quick. I'm kidding,
I
but
will say that there's a lot of gatekeeping in the black community, and I'm glad Naja
Mm.
touched on that because I think that's one of the reasons growing up that I started to date outside my race.
to be a
I
rebel.
seen it. Yeah, yeah, it was more of like a defiant thing, and it's like I didn't fit in with the black community, and like getting out of like high school and moving to the suburbs, I experienced a lot of different cultures and experiences and like that. And I was like technically the only black kid like in like Willow Grove, like a white suburban area. So it was like, oh, like these girls love me. So I was like, oh, like
Don't be
I'm
too
like, God, I'm
modest.
like,
All right, but that sounds like it's going to touch up on the mental question, and we'll transition. But quickly, I'll go through what my qualifications in a mate are. As far as physically go, I seem to be attracted to not exactly stick figures, but pretty much in that ballpark. That just seems to be the way how things are, and I did like a lot of Europeans, and let's say they don't eat like we Americans do. I'll just leave it at that. But particularly when it comes to like what I'm referring to when I ask these questions about what you're like physically attracted to is mostly like phenotype. When it comes to like phenotype, it's just like Mediterranean brunette, tawny skin. Like I said, fairly skinny, but you know, I'm not gonna hate a couple lumps here and there. And it's really funny because my last girlfriend did not look like that at all, so maybe I'm a hypocrite. But if I had to think of like my prime beauty ideal, it'll probably be that. I've dated a few people who look like that, and physically wise, I was always content. And yeah, that's all I'll say on that matter. Because now we're gonna move on to the next question. What are you mentally attracted to? And I'll go first since I want to start this with a very funny story, or at least I hope it's funny. So, I didn't mention race before because Mediterranean is like can be considered multiracial, and I've dated a lot. I feel like I've dated some of the most attractive people that represent any given race. There was this one woman from Senegal, and I swear to God, she worked at a Burger King. And I was like, why aren't you like walking for Victoria's Secret? You're like gorgeous in every fucking way, like a complete Nubian queen. I don't know how else to describe her. And then there was this other girl who's Dominican, like I am, who, for all intents and purposes, is white. I don't even think she had a drop of African blood in her. And what ruined both relationships was no matter how good looking they are, no matter how slim thick, as Sean says, no matter how voluptuous or anything, they could be solid tens. The relationship was always ruined by how fucking stupid they were. And I absolutely love women that are smarter than me. I'm okay with women who are just about as smart as me. If they're even smarter than me, it's just like I'll throw all that shit out the window. Holy shit, I love it because I have learned about myself. I cannot date stupid people. I'll share one story about the Dominican girl I dated. For all intents and purposes, a 9 out of 10. I would walk her down the block, and even the drug dealers would turn their heads like. I, it was an ego boost, Donnie. It was an ego boost. I don't know what to say, but the problem was that again she was a fucking idiot, and I don't feel bad about saying that because I feel like if you could test it, she would score high on the idiot score. So This is something I very rarely do. I don't really take girls to meet my friends or family, so when I do, it's like kind of like, oh yeah, I'm taking you seriously. But at that point, I just had like rose lenses or whatever they're called. So I take her to meet my friend. It's my one friend, his girlfriend who's like half Japanese, half Puerto Rican, and then our Filipino friend. And like yeah, we're all hanging out and shit. And it's kind of awkward because like they just met each other, and she's obviously not going to start any like intellectual conversations. But she's there anyway, and she's looking at the both my friend's girlfriend and our Filipino friend. She's like, "Are you guys brother and sister? Because you look the same in the face." And like, take note, she's just saying that because they both are of Asian descent from two vastly different cultures. But she'll say something that stupid out of that interaction, and particularly take notice to their face. Like she might as well have made fun of their eyes or something. So on that day, I learned I can't date a stupid bitch. Okay, Sean, you're next. Tell me, what are you mentally attracted to?
Hopefully not.
All right. I'd say mentally I'm attracted to anybody who is like open-mindedness or can teach me something different. Like I like to have conversations with people. So one of the things that I like to do, I guess, when I'm getting to know people, I always say I'd rather be friends first than like go immediately in the mentality of like, let's go, like, let's date. Because I want to see where your mind is at. Because it's basically like, I want to see if you're open minded, if we can talk about anything. Like, if there are certain topics that you don't like to talk about. I can like talk about anything under the sun. I'm very open minded enough to like try to learn different things. I don't really shame anybody for how they think about something, what they do. But kind of like what you said, intelligence is kind of really important to me. It's just like, or at least the open mindedness to be able to like back up what you're saying, to talk about what you want to say, to be open minded, to have like interesting, different off topic kind of conversations. Those weird conversations that will come up at like 2 a.m. where you're just like, hey, you ever think about like, like not saying this would be something I'd fully entertain, but like, are you in a like, do you think we're in a simulation and we can actually have like a actual conversation about it rather than it being like, hey, do you think we're in a simulation? It's just like, no, that's weird. And it's just like, it's just something interesting to talk about. Like, let's talk about something that people wouldn't normally. I hate Liddell. Yes, I guess there will also be weed conversations.
Liddell commented weed conversations as a sign of intelligence.
But
Feel
like,
free to dispute that, but I won't.
but like, yes, like those kind of like off-topic conversation where you just talk about the weird things that you noticed or like anything like under the sun. I like being able to like actually be either challenged through talking, like about different things that I may not be aware of, or having debates about like things that we're aware of, like actual, not like a full-on "you're gonna get mad at me" debate, but like an actual "why do you think that? Why do you feel that? Blah blah blah, yada yada" kind of conversation. So I would say like intelligence and open-mindedness is what I'm attracted to mentally.
Have you before, or maybe you can put yourself in these shoes? Have you ever felt like challenged by someone's intelligence, where they're like clearly smarter than you? Have you felt like they make you feel stupid, or are you someone that just handles someone being intellectually superior better?
It's like I would say I don't think I wouldn't say I've been in a situation where somebody's like, I wouldn't say like smarter than me, but I've been in situations where somebody may know something more than I did, and I'm like more on the, oh, okay, that's interesting, like the surprising. Because I'll be honest, not saying my knowledge is like very superficial, but I tend to know a lot about everything without really diving too deep. If it's something that I'm interested in, I'll probably do more research on it, so I'll get more of the know-how, like, or knowledge about it. But I pick up a lot of like random facts from either listening to people or like doing just random research. So if you can like I think I'll say one story that is really starting to bother me. A lot of people in this day and age like to use that term, oh, Google is a thing. I'm just like, well, yes, Google is a thing. I can easily go on Google and find the information that I'm possibly looking for. I'm asking you the question because I want to see if you can teach me more about it so we can get an actual conversation going. If you tell me Google is my friend, whatever, then immediately I'm going to be like, all right, dickhead. It's just like,
I'm not even
like,
interested in the topic anymore.
like
If
it's
you
just like,
like it, it must suck.
like, so it's just like, all right, cool. Like, that means you're more focused on like, just like, yeah, you can find all the information online. I'm just like, but I want you to teach me something. I'm actually looking for you to like teach me something that I may not know, or so we can actually have a conversation. So I can know about it myself, and I'm just gauging to see what you know about it. But the fact that you're like Google is your friend tells me either you think you're high above that you don't want to have this conversation, or you're low above where it's just like you don't really know yourself, so you can't have that conversation.
Yeah, yeah, no, I feel you. I remember like back in the day when like vegans were still relevant on social media, people would just ask questions about them, and they're like so used to being challenged on every single thing they do that every question is taken as like a threat or an attack of some kind. And like one dude was like, "Hey, how do you compensate for like the lack of calcium you're getting because you're not, subsisting on milk like the rest of the population?" And it was just out of curiosity because he was probably thinking like, okay, she's either taking a supplement or she found a superfood that has enough calcium where she doesn't need to, to take it. She doesn't need to have a lot of dairy. But in case she just went off on this dude and like spotlighted, pinned him, and was like, "Look at this dumb motherfucker." And I'm like, dude, that might have been a future vegan if you answered right, but because you're in this little bubble and don't want to take feedback of any kind, you just ruin the opportunity to have like this spontaneous relationship with this stranger who's interested in the same things you are. So yeah,
Mhm.
I totally get that. Naja, why don't you tell us what you're mentally attracted to?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with everything Sean said because
Uh,
that's 100% fact. Open-mindedness, being open-minded is very important. When it comes to attraction for me, because it's like I want to see exactly like where your mind is at, and what is it that you can mentally handle right now when it comes to being dealing with someone, or like, are you dating? Are you just messing around? Um, those come with time. Those are conversations that have to happen. So just having that genuine connection, those regular conversations, and just being open to them is just, I feel like it makes a situation, a relationship so much better, and it makes you so much more attractive because it's like you're a person, you're a human being, you have a mindset, you have a thought process, and that 100% is what I'm attracted to first and foremost, like more over physical attraction. Um, if we can sit there and talk about anything under the sun, like, then we can go for the long run then. And we can be like spontaneous. Like if I get to know you and I get to know the fun stuff you want to do, and maybe fun things you may have never done. And how are you supposed to know those things if you're not open minded, having those conversations? I'm really big on interpersonal relationships and interpersonal communications. So I really think deep on that. I'm a deep thinker, and I feel like I need to meet someone that's either open to deep thinking or is also a deep thinker. So yeah, that's definitely what I'm adapting.
So it seems like you're really on like mental maturity. Why would you say that is? What would you ever entertain someone who is like I'm gonna say mentally a child, but has that kind of jovial, kind of
Yeah,
youthful energy about them, and is interested in like let's say kid stuff that you'd associate with. Like, would you date an anime nerd, for example?
yeah, like for sure because um I've definitely like dealt with someone who was like into anime and stuff like that, but I feel like when it comes to not having like open conversations, it becomes like a dead end, basically. So that's why that mental aspect, that openness is so important because then you're just going to be in a dead end. Even if your intentions is to date someone or marry someone or be in a serious relationship with someone, if you hit a dead end by not having conversations, then it's not going to go anywhere. So that mental is definitely important. But I don't mean like step away from your inner child because I definitely still hold on to my inner child. Like I think that's so important. I'm so like goofy at times and everything. So I think having that inner child is so important. But it's okay if you're not like a super deep thinker or like super intellectual. But are you open to talk about the things of who you are? Because I'm interested in that. So,
Oh, gotcha. So someone who's like serious minded and knows what they want.
and not you don't have to be serious minded. I'm coming off very serious right now, but you don't have to be serious minded at all. Like You can be very either or. I'd rather pick the person that's not so serious minded, but still is open to have those fun conversations, conversations about anything.
That's
You know.
funny because like I'm attracted to women particularly who are like you know, they might have those like hobbies, like I don't know, they collect shit or they're really into anime, for example. But like, what really I suppose arouses me is when like they're really about their shit and like pay their own bills. Like, damn girl,
Oh yeah,
you did your taxes, shit.
yeah. I
Take my
love a
clothes
person that's
off.
on their shit. Yeah.
Fucking slap me with your W-2s. I'm like, damn. Tell me more. Okay, Donnie. Now, tell me why you like women with an IQ of 0 and men with an IQ
Oh,
of negative
first of
3.
all, why did everybody else get the same question, but it's always a direct attack
Because I
targeting
love
you
you
and
more, Donnie.
Liddell?
Because I love you more. This is how I show affection.
um, I don't have a religion, but if I had to say I had one, it's the advancement of humanity, human sexuality, and art. Like Sean and
Liddell. Liddell says Donnie was the spicy shit again. And I
but
find
it's
that
true.
funny.
It's true. Like it's I need somebody who's not afraid to daydream. What Naja said, I need somebody who still has their youth, but also what Sean said, I need somebody that I'm able to have a deep conversation with. It's I just need somebody with an artistic mind,
Hmm.
and that's what I value above anything. Family, friends, relationships. It's. I just need somebody who's not afraid to dream and dream big. And yeah, I mean, I guess you can say it's Disney love. Well, I think we already went over this. My warped reality on relationships and shit like that is based off 90s teen romance and stuff like that. But it's like,
Oh, dear God.
yeah, I mean, don't be afraid to dream big. That's all I really want in somebody.
You know, it's funny because I thought you were going to touch on religion in the first part of that. It sounds like you're describing humanism, which is kind of like a philosophy. But no, it's funny because I don't think I could ever really see. It would be really funny if I saw you with like this really Orthodox Jewish woman or like this really Orthodox Muslim person who like wears the dress and everything, does not go outside alone, things like that. Like your two energies are like completely different. And I kind of want to touch on that quickly before we move on. Like,
Yeah.
do you guys think like religion? Well, actually, no. This will come on an emotional, spiritual section, so I'll save it. But yeah, no. Just a preface is like, yeah, no. I can see Donnie with someone really religious, and if I did, if it would feel like a sitcom, because like personally, I could like never like. I could definitely date a religious person, but I don't see how you can be religious in the Abrahamic sense and not push that shit on your partner. Like, you know, that touches on a bigger thing. Like, a lot of problems I've had in my past relationships that we both have our interests and we both have things that we like that the other person might like, and you know that's okay. But some when you enforce what you like on the other person or you
Mm.
disrespect what they like, that's like a big sign of like mental immaturity in my idea. Like that's kind of why I touch upon like the childish versus maturity thing shit. Because like if I'm really passionate about something or really like doing something and like my partner knocks it every chance they get and like puts it down, it's like this is not gonna work, honestly. This is just not gonna work. But let's get into the next section. The last question is what are you spiritually attracted to? And you know, I'm glad Donnie brought up religion because I now want to like enhance this question because before this was just a question based on all that touchy feely horoscope bullshit we have every episode. But this time around, it's like, what are you spiritually attracted to? Are you religious? Do you care about religion? Could you date someone of a different faith? Could you do you not consider yourself religious? Do you find any notion of religiosity to be like anti everything you love and believe in? So it's this question is a lot more fluid than the others. So I'll
Hmm.
start with Donnie, since we both obviously have a lot of beef with Christian faith, and I want to see if it
Yeah.
extends to like all of them.
I will start by saying this. I think, and this is just my viewpoint, I think all religions is just bullshit. it's stories made up thousands of years ago of shit that can now be
Hail
But
Hydra.
now,
What
that
the fuck?
that can now be explained. But I do respect everybody's belief and their culture and stuff like that. So if I was to date somebody who's spiritually Catholic or Christian or whatever, it has no effect on me. Like Kenny says, as long as you don't try to push your shit on mine, like I'm fine. Like it doesn't affect the relationship at all.
Do you only date other Pisces? I'm asking this for Liddell. Oh wait, no, we talked about this shit already. Guys, just
Yeah,
watch the horoscope episode. I want to
yeah,
touch on this fucking subject again. Oh god, they
like
gave me.
2 episodes ago.
Yeah, they gave whatever. Two
yeah. We
episodes
already
ago,
did
you can
that.
see me. You can watch me get an aneurysm over horoscopes. But in any case, yeah, no, I really feel you. Like up until now, and I don't want this to be an episode about religion now, but you're giving me ideas, Donnie. But like up to now, I define myself like a Kierkegaardian Muslim, and I don't know if I've explained that yet. But essentially, it's just understanding that life has no inherent meaning and using a previously established framework to get you through the rest of it. And I feel like it's almost the way to go because like I've never met Muslims that weren't in some way super cool, humble people for all of its issues, particularly when it comes to like criticism of it. So I always saw myself kind of settling down with maybe perhaps like like what I was making fun of Donnie in the scenario thing. I saw myself as like maybe settling down with a orthodox one, but like honestly I don't see that as being too realistic because like I clearly have this approach and this idea about faith and religion that they will probably see as an affront, right? Like how can you believe in God and believe that he's the only way to salvation and then marry someone that does not care or think that way? Like that's going to be a huge contrast in some cases. Like you're going to have to justify it somehow and be like, why yes, I will have children with someone who is considered an infidel or a non-chast person in my religion, regardless of whatever he or she calls himself. So I thought that was pretty interesting because I still love hanging out with my Muslim friends, regardless of our completely different faiths. But I just can't buy into that whole bullshit, I guess. So, Sean, you're next.
Um,
You like yourself a good Christian girl? Goes
so
to
I'd okay.
church?
So I'd say with me, like when it comes to spirituality on like my end, I I guess this would tie into like the open mindedness thing again. It's like I'm very. I guess my one major thing is I always seek peace. So it's like I do the meditations. I look into like the other stuff like astrology, crystals, Christian faith, whatever. Because I want to say I grew up I grew up Christian. I didn't really practice it as much, but I want to say technically I grew up Christian. So I really don't have like a problem with like people in religions. The only thing is kind of like what y'all said. I don't like it if it's being pushed. Like it's just like like I can entertain it. We can like you can show me certain practices that you do. I can show you certain practices that I do spiritually, as long as you're like seeking peace and like you just want like the goodness of I guess humanity at play. I'd like be like, all right, cool, we're cool. But if you're one of those like not to like bash anybody in religion, my view of religion is very skewed because you got the kind of back and forth where it's like the people who are like one end it's just like God loves everybody, and then you'll also get the same people maybe on that same spectrum will be like, but God hates gays or this or this or this,
Yeah,
and you're just kind of like, you just
Yeah,
said the phrase God loves everybody. That's
yeah.
contradicting
I
what you
don't get
just
it.
said.
I me neither. Dottie. I could never get how gay people can be, or anyone, or any member of the LGBT community could like be serious about like Christianity or Islam or Judaism in small doses. Because like if you read the scripture, like Leviticus 12 is just very like uh, what does it say? Like to stone them? I don't know what exactly, that they'll end up in the pits of some kind. Like you cannot like cherry pick your faith. It's either you believe it all or you don't. Because if you're like, oh, I believe I will be saved by Jesus Christ because I'll just like repent at the last second and then like live my life as a gay man. It's just like, I don't know. I
I
don't know if that
mean,
works.
any holy book, it wasn't direct. it isn't direct teachings of like the being that most people worship. So you're following the words of old men who like written these books like years ago, and I don't know. It's like if you need
Uh,
somebody to if you need some spiritual being to teach you how to be a good person, I just think I don't know. It's something wrong with that in my eyes.
oh yeah,
Right.
before I jump on that, Liddell says, "How do you know they were old?" And it's actually kind of common because in during the Bronze Age when a lot of these he's like Liddell says Donnie wasn't in the tombs. How do you
We
know?
don't know.
But no, in most societies that we're thinking of where there was like advanced religious practices, it was the priests were oftentimes older men because only men were allowed to learn how to read and be educated. And even then, they were probably part of like the higher class of society, and they were probably I don't know, the life expectancy of someone was probably like 30 to 50 in the Bronze Age, I'd say. So, in terms of old age, like, yeah, they were probably like in their 30s or 40s when they're writing all these scriptures down, or like the Dead Sea Scrolls, or whatever you want to
Yeah, but
use, like
if it's
Homer and the
not
Odyssey.
from God directly, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because I've seen how people act. I don't know why I should believe these guys from centuries ago. Like I haven't talked to God directly, so it's
Uh,
like I that's the way I feel, and I touched on that
Mm.
a couple of times. So it's like no, if it's not from God directly, I don't believe it.
but like, no, we're gonna move on to Naja in a second. But I just wanted to add that back when I was becoming a yoga instructor for Yoga to the People, fuck those guys. By the way, the guy who founded them is a rapist. I don't care about calling them out. They were assholes throughout the entire period. I have some stories I can share some other time. But in any case, um, I remember we were being taught yoga by this South American guy, and everything was like very well educated. I don't want to say he was educated well in Hinduism, but he was like educated in a lot of the yogic scriptures, which aren't always the same. Like he wasn't reading the Vedas, probably he was reading some other commentaries. I don't want to get too deep into it. And like there was this one woman in our class. Who was becoming a yoga instructor too. Really popular, pretty likable, nice gal for all intents and purposes. But she was very openly, I believe, lesbian. Probably lesbian. I don't think she was bisexual. And she was like very desperately, like over and over, asking this guy, like, "Hey, what do these people think about gays? And like, what do these people think about homosexuals?" And like, as if this guy was actually educated in the greater faith when he just took a bunch of classes and probably read Ram Dass a couple times. But he uh, he didn't really give her a straight answer, and I've because I'm a nerd who actually likes to read this shit. I was like, well, in those days they didn't really have much of a better opinion than you would assume Christianity. Like there are like gays and homosexuals in a lot of these cultures, but it's not like there's not a culture that was like this is the way to go. I'm pretty sure that in Hinduism, it's not maybe it's not looked down upon or like seen as disgusting, but it's definitely not like pushed. It's definitely not the norm, quote unquote. Like at the end of the day, a man was supposed to be with a woman so that they could have family and continue their offspring in their perception. And we'll move to Naj in a sec. But like for example, Greeks were seen as like the guys who were like really open about homosexuality. Not really. That was just some fun you had before you actually settled down and had a partner. And like their idea of gay sex was completely different. But let's not get into that. Naja, please tell us what you're emotionally, spiritually, or religiously attracted to.
Yes. So I'm definitely okay. So when it comes to religion, so I was raised in Islam, so that's like you live your life based off of the Quran. Like that's your way of life. So a lot of that has been a part of my culture, like of who I am, like how I carry myself and my morals that I have and values. So, but at the same time, that spiritual journey and your journey with your faith is personal and it's sacred. Like how everyone feels about everything towards religion, like you don't have to share that, but you do because it is nice to talk about. But that's sacred, that's personal, And I think it becomes dangerous allowing people like in on how you view your religion, especially when you do follow a religion. It becomes messy when you share that with people. So you think about it, okay, with dating and dealing with people, eventually that conversation comes about. I don't know, like what when's the point where people want to talk about it, but then that conversation comes up. And being young right now, talking about that, and like I said last year, I wasn't in a great place mentally. So if you share that with someone, they question you and they question your faith, and that can be come off. You can be very offended by that, because for me personally, um, even though I'm not super religious and I'm more spiritual than anything, I'm more about being a good person and really having those like basic values as a person. I really believe in working on your inner self before you follow any faith, because you need to naturally go towards these faiths. Like everyone was saying about listening to someone that preaches the book, preaches the word, they can tell you anything, you can believe anything. So you have to take it upon yourself to go and pick up a Quran, pick up the Bible, pick up whatever book that follows the faith that you're interested in and read it. Don't go based off of what everyone else is telling you. Even the person who's like the leader of a church or whatever it is, like go based off of your readings and what you feel from it, and connected to who you are as a person. But you have to find who you are as a person. So when you're dating someone, I want to make sure they're as open minded as that. So don't judge me if my faith isn't perfect. Let's have a conversation about it. Um, because people go through different stages in their life, and they might not question their faith or the strength that God can give them, but that mental is something crazy. Like, so that mental can really take over and allow you to have thoughts that will take you away from what you believe. So that's what I mean. You have to work on who you are as a person before you reconnect fully with that faith, because then you're just putting a band-aid on it. Oh, I'm gonna read my book. Oh, I'm gonna go and do follow exactly what I got to do by the book, and I'll be all right. Yeah, you probably be all right, but are you really paying attention to what's going on within? And what attracts me to a person regarding that is having those conversations, those real conversations. Where are you at realistically with your faith? And are you going to judge me if I say I'm this way rather than, perfect? Where there is no perfect. So I can understand why, Donovan, how you feel about following different religions, because they build a picture of perfection that everyone's trying to live up to, not realizing that there is no perfection and that we're supposed to make mistakes and we're supposed to be as human as we are. And we're supposed to question everything to get answers. And those answers, if you believe in it, are in those books. But for me and my faith, there's only one book. Other faiths have multiple books. I don't know too much about them. My faith has one. So it is built on peace. That's why, um, you feel that very peaceful when it comes to people in Islam and everything, because it is built on being peaceful and in living your life, but living it for God and everything. Religion is something else. That's an emotional topic, but I feel like as long as I can find somebody that's not judgmental, because there's only one person, I believe only one, not person, but only one, the one that can be judgmental. So as long as I can find somebody that's as humbled as that, then that's what I'm attracted to. Yeah.
No, that's funny because like with my experiences with Islam, it was like how you're in a mosque and there's that one guy who's always there making sure everyone's like right next to each other as they pray. You
Yes.
know what I'm talking about. You know that there's always that guy, and like their argument is always no. It is their interpretation is like it is in our scripture that it says that it is part of our duty to constantly correct our brother or sister so that they may follow the orthodox way. I'm not a scholar and I don't
Hmm.
remember the script exactly, but like, could you deal with someone who uh, I, I, I guess my
That
question is like,
overly.
yeah, yeah. Well, first, could you deal with someone who interprets their faith as that way? And how do you believe that there are just multiple interpretations of one faith, or that there is some truth that you're supposed to correct your brother or sister? Like, what's your take on that topic? I know it's a really jumbled question, but like,
I hear you.
yeah, but like if some people say the religion tells you to be that person that forces things or like tells you how to be, what's your take on it?
Okay, so this is interesting because yes, um, growing up in Islam, you deal with a lot of judgment, a lot of you're supposed to do this and not that. And there's a way to go about it in a non-judgmental way. Um, I think is good, like just regular, even just on anything, teaching someone the right way, but teaching them as in don't slap their hand for doing wrong, but teach them the way because if you know something better, I want you to teach me better. But a lot of people do it in a very judgmental way, in a very like you will be like you're sitting hardcore if you're not doing this right. I don't like that energy, and that's what made me step back from following how other people follow it and taking my journey as slow as I'm taking it back to my faith. Um, is it other ways to interpret the word? Um, it's a lot. It's many ways to interpret anything in life. So yeah, it's just based off of who you are, because you ain't going to interpret it. It's by like the mindset that you're at currently. So if I'm not in a good mindset and I'm reading something, I'm gonna interpret it in just like a negative way or like in a extremist way. So when you hear about those extremists, those people terrorists and everything, those are extremists. They take things very literal and take it above and beyond. And you got to be good in your head to take it the right way, to interpret it in the right way and use it the right way. But yeah, some people are very judgmental and do a little bit too much, in my opinion. But
Kenny, your
You're
mic.
you're muted.
Yeah. Whoa, so I just spit some hot fire too. I don't remember everything I said.
oh
No,
damn.
no, but like,
Oh
no,
my
that's been my
god.
experience a lot of times too. Where it seems it's almost ingrained in some spiritual beliefs that you're supposed to be like correcting people all the goddamn time. It's just like, how can we actually coexist? Because one of our
Yes.
interpretations are wrong, and that could prove fatal for the other person's worldview. But yeah, so but I guess yeah, there are just some couples who can perhaps like find some form of middle ground, and that this is a discussion that's obviously not going to be settled on a podcast, particularly because we're at the end now. So before we peace out, I would like everyone to just plug in where we can find you on social media, or simply say your name and what you're up to. So you can start with Sean, go to Donnie, and with Naja.
Okay, guys, you can follow me on most social medias under the title of Black Dawn. You should also check out my website, Black Dawn Arts. I post all of my arts, photography, dance videos. Everything will mostly be there if you're looking for any of my artistic endeavors.
Right, Donnie.
Yeah, you can follow me down below. Going to be getting into performance art this fall, so be on the lookout for that.
Ooh. Right, Naja. Donnie said you were working on a YouTube channel. Feel free to plug
I
that in.
am, and I
Or-
actually will plug that in.
yeah,
It's called I'll actually plug in my YouTube because I am planning on uploading more. It's called a Just Space. So go ahead and subscribe if you like. Just doing regular everyday shit. The vibes.
nice. Well, my tag is, Gato Nor Magic. I have no services to offer you. I'm just kind of living my life. If you want to talk to me,
Mhm.
you can talk to me. There's really nothing more to it. But in any case, that's a wrap of our podcast. This was TUC Talk. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next week with a new guest star and a new topic. So, bye, y'all.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.